Woo, this is Weird Renegade Witches blog. Hit us up when you want some real motherfucking work done. You know, I always say this. Of course, 101 monthly lessons have already started. In addition to hit me up in reference to one-on-one lessons that I work very closely with people every single day, and that's separate from the 101 monthly lessons. And understand work can be incorporated, but it is separate and it's at a separate cost and frequencies, okay? I'm just trying to make this fast. And somebody in my comments said, well, you don't need to say all that stuff that you say in reference to explain. No, I have to explain because I have dumb people who get onto my shit and they seem not to understand that this is an occult energy. I am an occultist. So I am an underground occultist and I talk occult gossip. Okay, that's where it is. I understand what you're saying, but we have people who still on IEPs. Anyway, art is occultism. Occultism is a motherfucking art. In addition to wayward, it's about that revenge, redemption, responsibility. Thank goodness I'm not God, right? But I am Lord. Anyway, I know I came back pretty quick, right? After putting up one yesterday, but people been hitting me up. It's so much stuff. It's so much stuff. So don't think I'm not reading your stuff. When you email me, well, I don't read my emails. When you text me, I get it all. When you hit me up on Instagram, I get it. I read it. Or sometimes it takes me a minute. Okay, and I'll get to it. And even in the comments of you guys requesting me to look at certain movies, Netflix, Hulu, or certain movies, or look into something, for real. I was very interested that somebody put in a link in the last comments, and I said, oh shit. And it was like a frequency. I call it kind of the max headroom, but the energies that I was talking about as falling, being under that hypnotic frequency, being relaxed, and being basically the get out effect. It was very interesting. So if you look in my comments and see that link, kind of look at that. That's very interesting. Anyways, people keep asking me and also forwarding Umar Johnson. Look, I really don't have shit to say about Umar Johnson on the simple fact that I've examined the frequencies. And I told you he is psychotic. So I started to look at the trail and the astrology of it, right? And I've been following his witchcraft for years. Don't get it fucked up. I believed that he was full of resources. He was full of energy. He was full of all of everything to help the black community and to help black boys, right? So a lot of his advice I put towards my sons because there was no lies in the energy. But how do I know now, looking back, that he wasn't just a person put in place to be an infiltrator who knew how they were going to attack the black boys and put them into, as a kindergarten, into prison concept? Because what is very interesting, isn't that exactly what's going on today? Then he flipped from the whole psychology energy when he was questioned down. What is it on that? Was it TV1 or whatever? I forgot his name, about his degrees and shit, and he could never answer the question. So right there, I knew. I was like, that's suspicious. So anyway, as I started to understand Umar Johnson's witchcraft, I noticed the more that they pushed him out, the more he started to spiral. Then they put him up against Tariq Nasheed. Remember all of that shit going on between him and Umar Johnson? That doesn't make sense. Whatever. So we should have checked shit then. Whatever fights, whatever issues you have with people, that's in-house. You don't roll that out into the universe and then degrade each other and you guys are two men, because it looked like a bitch fight. Now that I'm looking at it, it looked like a bitch fight. Looked like two bitches fighting each other. No, but it's, yeah. Because I'm like, why is Tariq at him? Why is he at him? It just looked like a bitch fight. So we should have checked that then and understood some things, because a lot of the shit in the conscious community was on some bitch ass shit. And those men were acting real bitch ass and felony wise. Okay, so I started to look at the witchcraft. I started to look at the bewitchery. I started to look at the trail. And when I understood some energies, he's fucking played out. His time is up. If you look at what's happening to him, doesn't it mirror young Pharaoh? And young Pharaoh was on TikTok on a live in fucking jail. And then he got off that shit. This was what, last week or so? I know I'm not tripping. I said, that looked like a damn sale. And then he hurried up and got off. Allegedly. So the Virgo, Leo, and Cancer, they're always going to attack those three energies to go crazy and then lose everything. Notice Umar Johnson is acting like Wendy Williams. Wendy Williams act like young Pharaoh. Young Pharaoh act like Wendy Williams. Umar Johnson act like the both of them. Because they are an op. They are a psyop. Umar Johnson is a psyop. Now, allegedly, they're going to auction off that fake ass school, because that fake ass school was nothing but a money laundering energy. It was washing money. The question is, follow the money. With all the money that he received, you didn't even need that big ass school. He didn't even need that. To be honest with you, he could have did that shit at a church. Let's take it even further. He could have connected with a mosque. And then still had that money there to finance the kids and build a school if it was really about that. But then something became real iffy. He kept asking money and asking loans against the property. Now allegedly is in foreclosure. And now it's going to be auctioned off. Isn't that suspicious? Freezing of accounts. Young Pharaoh. Loss of property. Young Pharaoh. All the above. That don't seem suspicious. Wendy Williams, loss of property, frozen bank accounts. Lose their mind, lost his mind, she lost his mind. Lost her mind. Allegedly. And what type of sensibility or senses are we under that we are still entertaining Umar Johnson, knowing that he is psychotic? And he is part of a failing system and was part of causing a fail in the system. And how in the fuck and where is he getting the energies to travel around everywhere to talk about what? because there are things happening in this universal soul that need to be dealt with, and there need to be solutions. And any woman that goes behind Umar Johnson at this point, you stupid as a motherfucker, and you are straight bewitched, because he has no wisdom, no frequency, and no foundation. He is sinking in quicksand, and this is nothing but a fucking setup. That damn school is on the same lines as the Boom Boom Room. And you know what the Boom Boom Room is. The Boom Boom Room is that building that Tariq Nasheed is used. I guess they're using his likeness. It's none of my business, but we got to start matching shit up. We should have been matching shit up. We didn't match shit up when that last GoFundMe of Tariq Nasheed that was in the millions, and it just went up to the top, and we didn't peep how that money was funneled out, and niggas just came up. It's none of my business. It's none of my business. I'm just the person. I'm just a person in the audience. I am basically in the stadium watching the show. Because if they didn't want people to know and talk about it, then you do not televise it. You don't keep televising shit that you doing shady and then brag about it and then think you can talk your way out of it. But because these are men, we don't question their frequency. Nah, I'm a woman and I am questioning their frequency on the simple fact that we have this Umar Johnson shit and we were about to send our kids into hell. Are we not really peeping that whole shit with Kanye West and his school and how that shit closed down, and you realize it was hecka motherfuckers that had their kids up in that goddamn school, and Keisha Cole was one of them? What the fuck was really going on? How is it funneled? What is the LLC? Where did it come from? Who is sponsoring these people? That means whosoever and whatsoever was sponsoring Umar Johnson ain't sponsoring his ass anymore. His time is up. And he's trying to pull so much energy from the ancestors, from the Indian, meaning indigenous ancestors, the African ancestors. Then he's trying to pull on each fucking state and city, their ancestors. Shit, that's why I was saying yesterday. I said, oh, now you want to mention California. Got you. So, he's trying to get help from these ancestors. The ancestors have abandoned his ass because he abandoned the ancestors by using them for fraud. Because you need to think back with your ADHD asses and really think about how in the fuck has him traveling around talking about different energies of white women and this and that has really helped you. It ain't helped you one fucking bit. Because the goddamn thing is that people kept questioning his fucking frequency with that goddamn school. And kept asking for donations. He had 500 plus grand in his hand, allegedly. Where did that money go? Where was it funneled? Because maybe out of all of this, he really didn't have that money. How do you know that you guys didn't give donations? And I'm just going to be real interesting for Indians to come up, to be scamming. You don't know what the fuck that shit was about. You don't know how that money, that if you donated to his shit, where it went. Where's the business? What's the business? How do you work your business, man? How are you going to keep asking for donations and funding and talking about that you need to keep the lights on the school that you haven't even fucking started yet? He had enough money to hire a whole cafeteria of women to cook. He had a whole concept, and we're going to sit up here and act like act like that shit did not look shady. Shady as a motherfucker. Just admit that the whole thing was a conscious community gameplay. It was fucking witchcraft and bewitchery. Just admit that it was on some fraud shit. In this time of Jubilee, we should not be giving people like Umar Johnson money. If it's not benefiting you, if it's not educating you, if it's not developing you, if it's not creating an energy of you being a better black person, black woman, indigenous man, copper, whatever you want to say you are, black nationalists, fuck that Pan-African shit, because you got to understand the demonic energy behind Pan. And a lot of that is East Coast talk. I'm from the fucking West Coast. Pan-African. And you guys sit around and you very much underestimate California and its consciousness. The Bay Area? Stop fucking around. That's why when I compare East Coast with West Coast consciousness, it's two different concepts. And I know that for a fact. Now I understand why the pastor said, stay away from that shit. Because it's this shit right here. They make you afraid as a black person to say anything. Because they want to fight you on the truth, because they want you to remain blind to shit and not see it. There's nothing else to say about Umar Johnson. He was scamming. He played a doctor on television. He played a doctor on social media. And he played the fuck out of the black community. He sounded good, but most likely he was funneled information. This whole energy has been a money grab. And now he is done. And he will be put to rest. Because at this point, there is no more coming out. It is very interesting how all of a sudden on YouTube, you have all these niggas coming out talking about Umar Johnson. Oh, niggas, please. All you guys are paid for, and you've been knowing that he is full of witchcraft. That's what I'm talking about, especially women. We get lost up in these men. If you believe in God, you believe in man. And when people say you're not God and you don't have the wisdom like that asinine girl in Love and Hip Hop, she is right, because I am Lord and I am above man, and man is below me. And you right, I don't have wisdom, not his wisdom, because I give him wisdom. You got to understand where you sit and where you stand. And they sat up and transformed us into some weak bitches. Shit. With a capital B. That's what the fuck I gotta say about him. Then they're playing in our faces that now we have the conscious community that has uprooted itself in reference to this whole Trump bit. So now they want to be on resurge. So just so happened, I was minding my business. Let me see here. And something came up on my feed this morning, and I was like, oh, here we fucking go. So it says, a Professor Griff Trump message to black communities across America. And I used to, and don't get it fucked up, I used to look at this years ago. What is it? Black Magic 363. We still talking? We still talking and we still listening. Right? We still want to listen to men who moved out of their community and practiced the religion that enslaved America, that enslaved the black community? Wait a minute, I'm confused. So we hear all this shit that Trump is talking. And I have been telling you, black people, for years, you need to watch out what the fuck is going on. California is the epitome for everything that goes on in America because they test it in California first. I told you people, watch San Francisco because, one, they got London breed up in there. The city has a lot of black employees in high places. They attacked London breed about her sucking dick or whatever the fuck she was doing with Muhammad. They took down Muhammad, who I think worked in building inspection, correct me. Then you have another energy, I forgot, the black woman that they busted, her and her husband, up in the fucking Bayview, I think she was the administrator, replaced both with others mixed company. Then started to deteriorate different black positions. I said, watch out. There's something going on. Then I started to see it move across the United States, the attack on black people and their positions and political positions. White people, Asian people, whoever been doing the same fucking shit, but they kept targeting the black people. That shit that went down in New York with the mayor, that was a cold game and a cold setup because they set his ass up. Set him up for an Indian to come in and replace him on his bullshit. And that Indian mayor motherfucker, I was Umar or whatever, Zoran, I told you his father is the advisor in Colombia. Or the advisor at Colombia, and they playing as if they're African. But he's a whole hoax. It's not real, but it is a cultural cleansing. It is a cultural takedown. And they are attacking all the black people to remove them out of position, then erase any existence that we even existed. And then they want to replace us for everything. It was like when I was talking to my spiritual constituents about that show American Gods. And she said to me, she said, you don't think it's, well, I'm paraphrasing, but she's saying to me, you don't think it's suspicious how the white woman is now going to the Indian woman? And back then, the black woman, the white woman used to go to the black woman, and they have put the Indian woman in place of the black woman as if the Indian woman has so much wisdom. But all the Indian woman has done, she have stolen and kidnapped and hijacked all the wisdom that the black woman had, and then mounted it on herself, and then became the wisdom and the guru. But white women are so hungry for control, they don't even realize that. Everything is a fucking illusion. So therefore, what I'm saying is that when I'm looking at these energies of what's going on in the universal soul, we have to be very much careful. Because what is happening is we are getting the Silicon Valley effect. Everything that is happening with these tech people, with these .com people, with whoever, all these people working in fucking tech world has been going on. And the Bay Area was the test dummy. In Contra Costa, I guess if you're going from Concord into Pittsburgh, there's that, I don't know what the highway was, but you kind of see, it look like dunes, sand dunes, military dunes or whatever, right? Off the freeway. They were supposed to be, and I haven't been there, but they were supposed to be changing that into Amazon. They've been cutting up Silicon Valley in the late 90s. The change started to shift into the millennium, and they start having .comers come in to San Francisco and the Bay Area, buying up all the properties that the black people, grandparents, parents, or whatever gave them. They went and gave them some nickels and dimes, and then you niggas went and moved your asses out to fucking Contra Costa in those cheap ass houses, thinking you living in a fucking mansion, and didn't even understand the worth of your fucking Victorians and houses. The houses in San Francisco is worth more money than you can ever have in fucking Contra Costa. Unless your ass is living in Walnut Creek and shit or somewhere. What is it? Or what is it? Black Hawk? I don't know. So anyway, all that happened. Then it went from the .comers. Then you had, your startup companies, all of that shit. Your Silicon Valley. All they did was take all that California shit and moved it out into the rest of the world and universe. And we're getting Switzerland and all these other countries coming in, buying up shit. New York is totally bought up. They were talking about Brooklyn, how in Brooklyn, they are neutralizing everything that's connected to hip hop and black people. So how in the hell can someone and these conscious niggas who are full of felonies and can't do shit in the first place, can't even carry a gun, barely can go out and say a word because they under felony, how they gonna help you? How they gonna help your black asses but sit there and on a podcast or whatever and talk shit about what the fuck Trump is doing? How in the fuck can they help you? How in the fuck can anybody help you when they moved out of their energies and moved to fucking Atlanta and fucked up Atlanta? How do you trust anything that practices the very religion of motherfuckers who are financing to fuck you over? I ain't got ears for that. I don't want to hear shit if you practicing shit that the investors are fucking up the black community. I was trying to tell you black people then, watch California. Now these tech motherfuckers are having their kayaking meetings for a week to fuck you over in their damn focus group. They playing in your fucking faces. They telling you shit in air, but you ain't seen a law to first that back up anything that Trump is doing. I'm for old school shit. Show that shit to me. Show me that shit in writing. Where can I look that up at? What they did was swept the sites because Trump is not the fucking president. His fucking Oval Office tell you he's not. That is a whole Asian type of energy. He's just playing the president, allegedly. We're going to say allegedly because I'm crazy. But start to look at his shit. Start to really listen to Caroline Leavitt, the press secretary. She talks so tough, but she sounds psychotic. She just talk in circles, and she tries to sound tough. And I looked at her, I said, that's an Indian woman. That smart mouth is an Indian woman. And it's an Indian woman who detaches herself from what the fuck a person is saying. That's an Indian type of behavior. I know how white women speak. I know how they come across. These people are coming in with an authoritative energy. And they talking to you with stern, like they all keep trying to use the Nazi Hitler effect. Whoever these people are, they have studied the American culture. Okay, and they are scholars in it. So due to them studying the American culture, they have came in and financed certain energy. That whole energy, especially with them messing up, what is it, the yard or the flower garden, and basically putting concrete, that's Asian. That changes the scope and energy. I've seen this shit. When they want to get rid of you and your wealth and your finances, they dig up flowers. They dig up trees. I'm talking about Asians. I seen it with Chinese. They dig it up and then don't put nothing in the hole. They are not, some of them are not connected to nature. But the spirit says that minerals are below our feet. Then the spirit says that vegetation, they used to call it vegetables, is before us. Then man. Then animals. But who's above all of us is the spirit. And these people don't understand the concept. Neither do men. So therefore, the conscious community is on the loose again with their talks. But nobody wants to talk about the real shit, how you fucked up and got a whole movement going. And now we are objectively asleep. We don't have the fight of anarchy because we have been put to sleep and the pandemic shut us down. We fell asleep on 9/11. That was Eastern. Eastern again, and we don't know what the fuck 9/11 was about. Katrina was an Eastern effect. The next thing you know, Indians and Vietnamese showed up. And that was a whole Holocaust and murder and crimes against humanity, Katrina. So was 9/11. The pandemic was crimes against humanity. And again, it's connected to Eastern energies. What the fuck are we playing with? Then the cyborgs are hiding. Russia and all these other countries outside who's facilitating this, and California sitting there with a cigar smoking like we push and finance everything, but none of these niggas, they don't peep us because anything we do here is going to roll out. The low-income housing and subsidized housing effect. That's in California. That's in the Bay Area and shit. Building subsidized housing on prime property and then kicking people out and tearing down the project energy. The fuck you talking about? Investigating people and their incomes and doing all that shit. That's just the Bay Area. Stop playing. What are y'all looking at here? What's the energy? The black community been attacked since the fucking 80s, 70s, 60s. Always. Nothing new. A white man was talking about how Trump is attacking black cities with mayors, black mayors. Talking about, I'm going to send the law enforcement. Show me the law. Not shit that you made up. I need to find the law that he is talking about, that federally you could go in and harass homeless people and harass people with federal government military and then say you need to go into rehab. You need to go into asylum. You need to do this. If you don't go, you go to jail. Show me the law, because that sounds like it's fucking made up and it's in air. I don't believe one motherfucking bit that was always there. And I'm not going to believe no niggas getting online talking about, well, it's always this. No, I need to look at, show it to me. Show it to me. Because it sounds like it's some shit that's made up and they putting it in air. And we're not asking to see the document. Where's the document? And how is it you know this, but nobody else know this, just like we don't understand how what loophole is Trump under? Being a dictator, how was Elon Musk up in there? And who are these motherfuckers up in there really running America? It's not Trump. He's on house arrest. He has an ankle monitor. He could barely leave. We want to understand Bowser, because she's been a nursemaid for a minute. Maryland, Philadelphia, Detroit, Arizona, but then even Phoenix are all drug addicted areas, but with melanated people. We not asking questions. This is what I was trying to tell you yesterday. How in the fuck are they going to employ Indians on remote positions, even if the job is not at the location but remote, like in these hotels and stuff, working from a kiosk, and you do not hire American people? You want to harass college students on financial aid and then want them to get loans and shit so they can pay that high interest rate, but they are looking for jobs. Do you know that's a good college job to sit at in the dorm? Oh shit, let me see. Who's that? You need what? They playing in our fucking faces. What the fuck can Professor Griffin them ever say? They can't say shit. Because they need to come up and show the people what's the law. I don't want to hear all this shit. I'm looking for the law. I can't find the law, y'all. Can somebody show me what the fuck Trump and them are talking about and Caroline Levitt? Because I'm tired of being in air. I want to see the documentation that shows that they can do that, because that is crimes against humanity. That is, it goes into again, exterminating a culture. It goes into persecution. It goes into systematic attack of civilization. We are still protected under laws. I don't care what all that other shit. A spiritual constituent is telling me about Philadelphia being under is it common law or common whatever? But I think it's something common law or something. Am I tripping? I'll get to it. So then I'm like, so when I heard Oakland, and I said, oh, I didn't even know Barbara Lee was the dang mayor of Oakland. At least they gave her something, because they kept playing in her face. Barbara Lee. Yes, they played in black people's faces. I keep telling you, these Indians are our replacements. And we're sitting up here letting it happen. I ain't got time for no niggas in their conscious community. You guys are full of felonies. Black Lives Matter was nothing but a psyop. This is what you call a class action lawsuit. This means black people have to come together as a collective and a coalition and fight against it and sue the government. Those communities have to basically have a coalition and sue the government, because they are funneling drugs into the community to kill off the black people or the people that live in the community. Philadelphia have a mixed company of people on dope. What's the street again? Is it Kingston or Kingston or whatever? And they're funneling free dope. They did the same thing in San Francisco. They're giving them free dope, and the dope is eating them from the inside out. This one is taking them out. Is eating at their brains and their flesh. Crimes against fucking humanity. What the hell? You got young black boys on fucking crack and hallucinogens. You have fucking black boys wearing skirts and tennis skirts. Why are we, what the fuck? You playing with me? You should have had war on eunuchs and the homosexual community, not gay community, the homosexual community that kept pushing all of this shit. I ain't got to hear shit from these niggas, because underneath you, you had a whole nigga called Nature Boy who facilitated a eunuch. Y'all over here facilitating Tubi, facilitating trafficking, facilitating laundering, for working for these motherfuckers, under these motherfuckers, pushing a fake ass religion, under Hinduism, under Ifa, under this, under that, and black people confused. Oh, you have to be a vegan. Now I'm not a vegan. Now we eating slop. Now we over here eating oxtails. Now we over here doing dumb shit, but nothing to make money. Your man is God. You're what the fuck? And as you're doing all this, a man that has an ankle bracelet, who they're using the likes of, up here saying this dumbass shit. Nobody's asking for the law. Nobody is looking at the community. There's nothing else to fucking say. Either you going to sue these motherfuckers, or we gonna figure out what class action lawsuit of Benjamin Crump. Excuse me, lawyers. I know right now there's a lawyer from California that lives in DC that dealt with civil rights issues, who worked for John Burris, who represented me. Look up John Burris, and he has somebody that lives right there in that damn DC, who is representing a young lady who helped a homeless person and did a GoFundMe, and GoFundMe tried to hold up the money. I'm just saying, we have civil rights attorneys. We have attorneys who do pro bono. What happened? Where you at? Why you hiding? Because all you guys know, there's laws against this. And you know damn well people's rights are being federally challenged. But people are not asking for the law. They're not asking for documentation. How in the fuck can a governmental energy just wipe off a whole page so people don't get information? No, start asking for information. I need to see documentation proving what the fuck this man called Trump is talking about. I need to see the law that says they have the right to incarcerate human beings for refusing not to be used as test dummies, murdered, tax breaks, income for third world motherfuckers coming from somewhere else. No, you're not going to use the homeless as collateral to pay debts. You're sweeping the black community to pay off a debt. How in the fuck can the conscious community speak for us when they didn't even speak up when they were basically unemploying black women? If you dismantle the black woman, you dismantle the culture across the board, across the world. Just admit Africa is the new fucking Silicon Valley. We're gonna stop that playing. You people out here, I was talking about that movie Weapons, how it appropriated the black culture, how it appropriated the works of the black woman and spell work and hoodoo root work, all of that, and played in our faces with that white woman. Meanwhile, you got niggas running around here on social media talking about black Southern goth. It's black hoodoo. No, it's fucking not. Southern Goth or Southern Gothic is not black hoodoo. Black people wearing white shit is not Southern Goth. That's where y'all got shit fucked up. You always got a motherfucker trying to create a trend but don't even know the energy behind it. Right? I cracked up because you got people out here talking about Tiffany Haddish. This is the distraction. Tiffany Haddish didn't want a pastrami sandwich. And they said she was rude. I said, who gives a fuck? She got to worry about what the fuck is going on with herself. Nobody give a fuck about no Tiffany Haddish. Distraction. Alicia Keys, Swift Beats, and Lala Anthony. She's getting a divorce from Swiss Beats. Who the fuck what? Oh, that's what she get, for being with Swiss Beats. What you talking about? That was a setup marriage. Alicia Keys didn't want to be with no fucking Swiss Beats. That man is an abuser. We all know damn well allegedly that Alicia Keys is a whole goddamn lesbian, and she would have been happy with Jada Pinkett, because we ain't seen Jada Pinkett since, because Jada Pinkett went full stud. And I said they just need to go on and be together. Swiss Beats got to pay back a $7 million plus debt. Y'all didn't understand that was a setup marriage. It was arranged. Alicia Keys didn't want to be with that fool. She was unhappy, and it got worse. And they programmed the fuck out of her. Now Lala Anthony's next. I said, oh shit, don't put no cancer with no Swiss Beats. That's where we distracted. Y'all out here distracted under Kiki Wyatt and why she have 11 kids and she needs to be stopped. That's a whole fucking witch. Leave that witch alone, and she knowing that she's being paid to have all them goddamn children. We can see what the fuck it is. That's what we worried about on social media. We've been knowing the way that woman eyes be going backwards and forwards, that she's a whole witch. I think a being. I'm not about to play with y'all with this shit. So we're going to sit up and get caught up under this bullshit again and repeat. You need to go back and study California, the Bay Area, starting in the 90s. And start watching the elders die off, and how the black people in the Bay Area, especially San Francisco and Oakland, start selling off their people's shit. I was listening to this woman talking about in Vegas, how Vegas profited because you had the elders going there playing those slot machines. The elders have died off and they can't keep Vegas up. And we don't have a bit of sense as black people to understand and to carry on what our elders put in front of us. I fucked up with my brother trusting his ass. Now I was like, well, I can't say because it was my brother. I said, dang, I should have sued his ass and his goddamn wife when they sat up and played me and my brother on our grandmother's house. But I was taught to trust my brother, not to go against him. But his dumb ass and his wife moved to fucking Contra Costa and bought a fucking house there. And I'm like, and then talk about they was going to save up to go move to fucking Belize with my grandmother's money. What? Which one? Yeah, I'm still disgruntled to this day. I'm not going to move up out of it. That's the shit black people were doing and still doing, selling their shit. We don't have time to be hearing that dumbass talk. I want to see some laws. Show me where it says that you can do that. Okay? Anyway, this is Weird Renegade Witches Blog. Hit us up when you want some real motherfucking work done.